In this video, we're going to turn Blackmagic Raw multicam interview clips into a rough cut in just 15 minutes using Eddy AI. Let's get into it. So Eddy AI is an AI assistant editing tool. I've done a video about it on the past, but a lot has improved, and I'll talk about that in a second. But clock is ticking, so let's jump into making a rough cut in just 15 minutes. So I'm gonna hop over here into DaVinci Resolve, but this works with Premiere, this works with Final Cut, or you can just give the raw videos yourself to Eddy AI. But the beauty about this workflow is that I can work in the editing program that I normally work in or that my team works in, and we can have Eddy AI do the first batch of edits and then get it back into our nonlinear editing software so we can work how we normally work. So it's not a whole separate thing like I've seen with other AI-assisted editing tools. It works inside whatever tool you normally work inside of. So I've got my two interviews that we shot. We shot each of these interviews with two camera and separate sync audio from their labs. So I've got them all set. I've got the multicams already pre-built, and we have our two angles, and I'm going to send these two multicam clips to Eddy AI. But before I do that, I just want to make sure it gets the best video angle and the best audio angle. So in my multicam clip, I'm going to make sure that my video angle is set to the shot that I want to give it, and that my audio angle is set to the best sounding audio. And so that looks good there. And then one other thing I'm going to do is initialize the connection from Resolve to Eddy AI. And it might be a little bit different if you're in Premiere or another editing program, but Eddy AI has a lot of great tutorials that'll walk you through what you have to do. So I already have the Eddy AI integration installed for Resolve, so I'm just going to go to Scripts and hit Eddy AI, and nothing's going to happen, but that just basically initializes the two-way communication so Eddy AI can come in and access Resolve. So now I'm going to hop over to Eddy AI. This is a separate program running locally on my computer. And I'm just going to say I want to start a new project, and it's going to present me with some options. If you saw my other videos, some of these have changed a little bit, and I'll get into them in future videos. But what we're going to do is a rough cut. So I'm going to select rough cut, hit next. And then if you're not in an editing software, you could just start Eddy AI and add your interview clips here. You can add up to 30 interviews. 10 is sort of the default, but if you need to do more, you can message them and they'll up it to more. I'm just doing 2, so that is plenty for this. Or you can connect it or add it from your Pro, from Resolve, which we'll do, from Final Cut, or from other online sources. I want to turn on multicam. So if you hit multicam, now you get an option to upload separate camera angles up to 3, and your audio for each interview. So turn on multicam first, and I'm going to do that Resolve integration. Checks the project that I have loaded on Resolve, and then it brings me a list of all of the clips that I have. If you have a bigger project, it'll take a bit longer for this to index, but I just have a special project for this. And we can see it has my multicam clip recognized and indicated, so I'm just going to select this one and say import. All right, so we got my 2 clips loaded here, and then I'm just going to hit import. And what it's doing now, and this is pretty clever, is it is using Resolve to transcode the media into proxies that it'll bring back into Eddy AI. So this solves a big issue that I had the first time I reviewed Eddy AI, where I couldn't import Blackmagic Raw clips, or you couldn't import Red Raw into Eddy AI. I had to import the proxies that I made myself, and it sort of added these extra couple of steps that made Eddy AI a bit more of a pain to use, but they have fixed that. And so if we hop over here, we can see that now Eddy AI is controlling Resolve, and it is exporting the 2 multicam clips as complete video files that it's going to import into its servers and run the transcribing and analyze it, and then we'll start with our rough cut. And while this is happening, now is a good time to talk about the previous video that I made about Eddy AI. So I did a video before, which you can check out, but I would say probably not the kind of pointless to check out, because basically it was a mid-range review of Eddy AI and some issues that I had with the workflow, and I kind of wanted it to work a lot better than it initially did. Eddy AI saw that video, and they reached out to me, and they told me that they have improved a lot of the issues that I encountered, and I could attest after running through with the updates and their responsiveness to my feedback that they have improved a lot of the updates. And also just to disclose and clarify, so they also did want to do another video, and so they are covering the cost of producing this video, but they've not had any input in the editorial content or what I say in this video. They just wanted me to make a follow-up video showcasing some workflows that I found with Eddy AI, but this is all based on honest feedback and experience using the program, and I do still have a couple issues with things that I want to improve, and I'll talk about that in a second. So this clever solution is basically whatever you can input into your editing program, it can go into Eddy AI, and it's just round-tripping it and using your computer to process the files before they go to the cloud as H.264 proxies. I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to stop this process because it's just going to take a while for it to run on my computer. I'm going to jump over to a project that I already ran this exact same process for that is done, so we can just save some editing time. And I'm also not going to count this towards the 15 minutes because this step would depend on how much footage you have and how fast your computer is at processing those proxy files. So montage, boop, boop, jump ahead, and I'm going to go to my complete analyze project after the footage was transcoded, uploaded to AI, processed, and then this is the next thing that we would see. So you get this nice little chat interface over here on the side, similar to the first video that I did, but the chat interface has improved a lot and the step-by-step walkthrough of what you can do has improved a lot. So it already analyzes the footage and it gives me a little summary of what was talked about in the interviews. And it also then gives me a highlight of topics that were addressed in the interview. And then over here on the chat interface, we have this chat box on the bottom where we can type in and give it instructions. And then they also have these little pill boxes that pop up that help guide you just in case you can't think of anything or you want to start with some ideas so you're not starting from scratch every time. And initially for the first part, I would just say walk through the initial instructions of what it is trying to do. All right, so first up, it's like, how long do you want to make your rough cut video? I'm going to say, let's do 3 minutes. And we'll jump ahead on these processing parts, but we'll leave a note of how much time we jumped ahead. Okay, so now it's saying, cool, thanks. Here's a suggested framework for my 3-minute story about AR Wall's virtual production technology. And so it's a very kind of traditional format, introduction, what are AR Wall solutions, and then some of their success stories and conclusion. I'm going to say, so I could say, yeah, cool, that works, go forward with it. Or it gives me some suggestions on other directions I want to go. Or I could say, give it my own direction. And so I'm going to say that I want to focus on AR Wall's virtual production technology solutions, starting with the pain points and technological hurdles of getting into virtual production, and then showcasing their different products at different entry levels, starting with the AR Effects app, and then leveling up to a TV, and then a full-scale LED wall. So in this case, I sort of had a specific idea of what I wanted to make a video about, so I gave it this direction, so let's see what it does. All right, so now there's a new outline that it is proposing, starting with virtual production challenges, and then AR Wall's tiered solutions, and then some success and conclusion. Yeah, let's say that works. That sounds good. All right, and so now it's coming back. So I knew it was gonna have this issue. Basically, each section that it makes, it has to be at least a minute long for the AI to work and for it to get enough material to fill that out. So it's telling me, okay, the initial outline that I had, because this one was saying, oh, it should be 30 seconds, that's too short. It needs to redo the outline before it starts making the script. So do I wanna do virtual production challenges, and then do I wanna merge the other section together? I'd actually like entry-level, mid-level, and professional level services to be their own section. It's okay if the video is longer. So I'll just give it more direction. And I found that it is a lot more responsive to the giving it direction. I had this issue before where I kind of gave it notes or tried to give it things to adjust, and it didn't really honor what I was saying, but I found that it's been a lot better at following directions for what I give it in the chat box. Okay, and there you go. So now it is saying, okay, we'll do a intro for a minute, we'll do entry-level solutions for a minute, we'll do mid-level for a minute, and then we'll do professional level services for a minute. And that's great. So I'm gonna say, yep, that works for me. And now it's going to run through each section and then start creating the sound bites in the script for each section. We kind of go section by section, modifying or improving, and then giving the thumbs up and moving on to the next section. So you work in minute-long chunks, or I guess minute to 2 minute long chunks, version by version, as you move through your rough cut. Okay, and then it's gonna ask me, what editing style do I want? For this, do I want option 1, rapid cuts with shorter sound bites, so very quick camera switches between speakers, which may be half a sentence to 1 sentence, or do I want longer, more comprehensive sound bites, where it gives the speakers enough time to fully express their points, and the sound bites are at least 15 to 20 words, could be more than 30 words, so a bit longer, or do I want something in between? I've been testing and going with longer sound bites, so sometimes they end up being a little bit too long or have too much filler words in them, so let me try a mixture of both. I haven't done this option before, and we'll see what we get. Okay, and then lastly, it'll ask, do I really need it to be exactly 4 minutes? It'll work a little bit longer and take more processing for that, or am I a little bit more flexible with how long the actual video is? I'm gonna say, no, I don't need precise timing, so I'd rather just have it give me options rather than stick to that time. I'd imagine if you're in a bit more of like a rapid editing or a news gathering situation where you sort of have to hit a very specific runtime, that might be a bit more of a better fit for you. All right, so this might actually end up being a 15-minute rough cut, cutting out the thinking time from the AI, but it's still a lot faster than going through all of the clips. I also will say that there's still no substitute. You should know the material. Like, I did the interviews and we've also edited these videos before, so I know it's in the material, so that's why I was able to ask more specifics and know what we have. But this, definitely saves a bunch of time from just sourcing and grabbing sound bites for that first rough cut. Okay, so now we're in section 1. We can see here too, they added this nice little outline. So we already went through our summary section. So now we're in the rough cut edit and we have our sections that we're going to get to. But currently right now we are in our introduction. And there's also a nice approved playback window here to play back the clips of what we have.
Like, a lot of people come to it and they think it has to mean like.
Okay, so I'm skimming through this. I'm not going to read this in detail because we got to get through this rough cut. I just want a starting point. I think the best way to think about Edit AI is that it'll get you like 80% of the way there. It's still, that's why it integrates with your professional editing tools, because it's still just doing a lot of the legwork and getting it into your system, but you're still the editor and the decision maker and the craft person. It's just getting a lot of legwork done in the first part. So if it gets me 80% of the way there, I think that is a win of good stuff. So I'm going to, just looking at that intro, I think it needs a better introduction line. The first line is a bit weak. We need a better introduction line that specifically states virtual production and states the problem and challenges with virtual production. So let me give it that note and then it'll reprocess and think. All right, sort of did this. It still doesn't say virtual production in the very first line. We need to say virtual production in the very first soundbite. Okay. Okay, so still not quite there. I think I had better experience, when I just said let the sound bites play out longer. This is the first time I'm doing the hybrid shorter sound bites with longer sound bites. The longer sound bites, I had better experience with that. So let me give it some more direction. The first sentence should explain what virtual production is, and then we should get into the challenges of doing virtual production. Actually, this could be a pretty good line. It's very easy for the cost and schedule of virtual production to balloon out of control. Start with the line. It's very easy for virtual production costs to balloon out of control, and build the first section out of that line. Okay, so after looking at some of the lines, let's see what we got with this version.
It's very easy for the cost and schedule of virtual production to balloon out of control. Without the expertise to constrain that down into something reasonable, that's a great fit for the production. It can be very difficult to approach the technology. And until recently, it took either very beefy machines that were very expensive, or it took a large number.
Okay, this is a much better introduction. We kind of lay out the problem and get into virtual production. It's still okay, actually we could get out of this sooner. It has this last line. And this is a big improvement that Edit AI added that I had an issue with in the last version was I couldn't make very specific edits in the text. I was either take it or leave it. But now they added a text editor. And so if I go into this edit mode, we can see here that I can jump in here.
Number of distributed nodes.
And let's say, oh, he's got these stumbles here with the ums. I could just delete that and then it'll strike it through. And I can just save time from having to redo this stuff in Resolve and clean it up when I could do it here. Or if there's really big lines like this line down here, I think we're just kind of getting repetitive. I can just delete this whole line and I don't have to deal with it in my cut. And then also, let's say, oh, okay, I want to shift this a little bit earlier. I can now rearrange sound bites as well. So this is a big update too, where I can just mess around and tweak things in here. I could either do this in each section and modify each section, or I could do this at the end after I confirm each section.
And until recently, it took either very beefy machines that were very expensive.
Right. And so I got this here, and let's say, okay, section 1 is good. So now it'll finalize this and I'll move on to section 2. And now section 2, we should be talking about the entry-level solutions, using AR Wall's computer app to start with virtual production and using your iPhone as a camera/tracker. Okay, so look at this, actually feels pretty good. So we have this in the starting.
We built the ARFX software.
He's talking about the ARFX software ecosystem, which is actually sort of how we had this structured in the actual video that we did of this, that we edited manually. And here, that's actually great. Instead of paying thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars for a huge kit, you can actually spend a few $100s, get the same trackie if you're not technically savvy. So this is exactly what we kind of covered in the original video. We wanted to first talk about, okay, we got entry-level solutions to get started in, and this did a good job of pulling those sound bites. And it actually did a good job here. I see one soundbite ends with, you don't need to learn how to use Unreal Engine. And then it pairs up with the other line. There's no need for an Unreal Editor anymore. So it did a good job of just kind of cutting two of these lines together with, like maybe in the actual edit, they're a bit too repetitive, but we have options. We can kind of hear the delivery of how people, each of them talk about not needing to use Unreal Engine. So this actually looks pretty good. I'm going to move on to the next section. And then also you see here, it does save every version of the cut. So I was trying to get that line back in the challenges version. So I can click back here and go to my previous versions as well to, if there's something I wanted to like revisit or check back again. So it does have your versions back here. So now I could either continue or I could see both parts together first. I'm just gonna say continue. And so now I should be on to section 3. Okay, so next section, mid-level solutions. And this is actually, I didn't really tell it what a mid-level solution meant, but yeah, Studio Box is their like hardware little box solution. So it's like the mid-level setup. This actually is good, but I kind of want like a transition line. I think we have something, but I don't fully know. Let me ask it. The setup sounds good, but we need to start with a transition line. Like if you're looking to level up, the next level is the ARFX Studio Box or something like that. Okay, and so actually, I don't even know if we if they said the line that I was looking for, but this gave me enough material that I could work with. So it actually found a line that was the transition line. So I asked for a transition line. For those who want to ratchet it up to the next level, it's just about the ARFX app, but we could use that intro line to introduce the Studio Box. And so again, I could either do that, when I send it back to Resolve, or since I'm here and I'm thinking about it, I can just come in here. For those who want to ratchet it up to the next level, I can just say, oh, I want to delete this section, delete what we've developed, the Studio Box. And let me say save.
For those that want to ratchet it up to the next level, what we've developed with Studio Box is taking the most cutting edge.
All right, that would need some cleanup and stuff, but it found the line that I was looking for, a version of a line that I was looking for, put it in the right spot, and gave me the other elements. I'm going to say, cool, finalize this. And then let's go to our last section. Okay, and so now this is the pro level, and I see the intro. It didn't get this one right. It's talking about ARWall as a company. ARWall is a virtual production software technology company started in 2016, not what we wanted. This isn't quite right. It's talking about ARWall as a company. For this section, we need to talk about ARWall as a service provider and building LED screens and their media server in a box. I do see it ended on the call to action. If you have a project you think is going to benefit from virtual production, don't hesitate to reach out. And then also says we have bundles that are a fit for every market, every budget. Yeah, so the second half I got right. The first half, it didn't get that right. So let's see how it does with direction. Okay, no, still introducing the company. This section should just talk about the ARFX Pro server and the Studio bundles. Okay, I'm going to use one of their pillboxes. We need more specific details about the Pro server. I still think it's missing the context for this is for about building large LED volumes. Okay, this is actually a lot better. So this was the setup of the pain point for if you're trying to build a large LED volume, that it's a bunch of parts and pieces and getting them to work together is a challenge. So they built an all-in-one bundle for XR stages.
Previously, it's been...
So this one actually nailed it pretty well. It includes bundles that can support large productions, lots of equipment, and we simplified it down. And then it does end with a good call to action if you're interested to find out more about our ARFX or our bundles. You can go to our website. Yeah, so that's pretty much nailed it. I'd probably maybe add a little bit of a transition line to clean this up, but this got 80% of the content we needed for this section. So I'm gonna say this one's good to go. Looks good, let's keep it as is. And now what it should do is put the entire thing together into the one script, and then I could do any final changes that I may want. Here, so we got our full video, and this is actually a brand new update that just released today when I'm doing this demo, is they now are also providing some general ideas if you're putting this on YouTube for a YouTube title and description and chapter markers. So it's just there just as an extra add-on to help if you are doing a YouTube specific video. Not what we need right now, but it's cool that it's there. Okay, so we got our full video, and so we could play back and run through our full video again, just to kind of
very easy for the
do another check and polish. And we could also edit and change. Now we have the entire script. We can shuffle and reorganize and change anything here. So it's kind of thing you think of any AI where it's sort of starting in like your bigger story, broken down into an outline, and then you kind of focus on building out each section, and then it all comes together with your script, and then you could rearrange elements here or trim it up just to clean it up before you send it off to back to your editing program. And then we'll say, actually, this is considered done. So it's good. And so we'll go up here to say export. And then because I just did some tests with this before, it has my last use setting saved here. But just if you're using this for the first time, that won't be there. So you can send it to any of your editing programs, the Premiere, Resolve as a FCP XML file, or as the old version. So I'm going to use that one in a second. Or you can export it as a video and crop it, or you can just export the captions or the transcript. So you have a bunch of options here. I'm just going to go and send it back to DaVinci Resolve. And it still has that connection with Resolve. So it will send the timeline file back to Resolve and import it directly into my project. I don't have to do anything. I could download it if I wanted to, but the integration works really well. I don't have to do anything with dealing with files or re-importing or stuff like that. All right, let's hop back to Resolve. This is, because I already did a test project, this is simplified. So this is my latest project that we just did. Oh, I already had it opened. Yes, right. All right, this is the latest project. And as you can see, it didn't bring any other files in here. Like I've used other integrations and tools where you import the project back into Resolve, and then sometimes it re-imports the original media. And so you have all these like duplicate files to deal with. As you can see, it just added this one timeline. It is still referencing my original multicam clips that I already started with in project. All the original clips are still there. There's no duplicate clips re-added. So it just brought in the timeline with my rough cut string out. It also added a subtitle track with all of the captions that we had inside Eddy AI. So that's there just in case you want it for reference. I'm going to turn that off right now. One other thing I'm going to talk about in a future video, because this was another issue or wish that I had with Eddy AI was, hey, what if you're already in that rough cut phase and you're in that secondary phase where you're like, I need to find the soundbite of someone talking about this, or like, hey, pull together anything where they talk about the studio box so I could see all of the options. That is a new feature that they also just added called ChatGPT mode, where you can just import your footage and have a conversation of what you're trying to find and assemble and send it back. I'm going to talk about that and break that down in another video. But as this is right now, let me know what you think of this Eddy AI rough cut mode. A lot of improvements over my last video. So kudos to the Eddy AI team. And thanks for reaching out and addressing a lot of the notes that I had and feedback that I had. One other note or wish that I had was that the downside is, okay, we did this project. We kind of had to do that initial export, all the media, and then wait for it to process. If I wanted to do another cut or a different version of this video, because we actually shot these interviews with the intention of doing 3 different videos, right now you have to do the whole project process again. So it's kind of re-export the media, import it back into Eddy AI as a new project, and then do the whole processing thing again. I can't just duplicate this project and start with the original media that I already exported, but do a new edit. They said, yes, they understand that's annoying, and that they're launching that duplicate feature within a month or so. So I'm glad that they're addressing that as well, because that is sort of the one other wish thing that I had out of this process of being able to do multiple versions of a video without having to reprocess or run through the same footage over and over again. Let me know what you think. You can check out Eddy AI down below. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode.